Oh, you have to draw him now.
I have to draw whom? The new co-host?
Does new person identify as attack helicopter?
He probably does. As a attack helicopter who identifies as a woman, but he's actually just a dude.
Okay, so, in that case, you have to draw attack helicopter self.
No, I'm just gonna draw Sam Manson from Danny Phantom because why the fuck not?
Also, Artrix, there was this splash art with 2 people. Now you need to draw another person. Just tape him over Penboy. He's not.
But we don't know. Anyway, that's. Okay, I don't know what just happened. Something got in my eye, but didn't immediately kill me. So.
Is it the C?
Yes, the C got in my eye.
Can you see it?
Hmm.
Can you see it, Mr. Artrix?
Well, I couldn't talk because I was keeping the beer from overflowing because I was doing that for some reason.
And that's why you needed to shut your microphone.
No, that's because I had my mouth over the beer bottle to keep it, from wasting precious beer.
That's why I'm giving blowjobs to random beer bottles. You don't even know that beer bottle.
GG. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is Radio Rothingham, the world's least professional podcast on the entire internet. I'm drawing Sam Manson from Danny Phantom because why not? We got with us 4 people plus me. We got ourselves Xaverius.
I just ran out of drink. This is terrible.
This is rather terrible. We got it with us, back from the dead. Well, it's not Penboy. It is Backfu.
Back from the dead.
Yes.
He's back from the dead. Back. We got with us Secular.
Why would you even draw worst girl?
Because I'm actually trying to make her look good. Or at least I'm trying to. But since it's Sam Manson, that's going to be a challenge. So, challenge accepted.
Well, it's better than Charles Manson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you will, by the way, Charles Manson is dead.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
He died, but we can discuss it on the show. And of course...
on the show, Artrix.
And we got ourselves a new co-host. He's from Poland. We migrated to the Netherlands. So he's in the same country as me. Which is very special or something. Anyway, give a warm welcome to Zavoy.
Howdy.
Hi.
No.
Get out.
Yeah, no.
Welcome to hell.
Welcome to your very own slice of hell.
That's a pretty nice color you got here.
Nice color.
Nice hole.
Right.
Yes.
It is a pretty nice hole, yes. So I did a test recently. Actually, I didn't, but some of the people in Artrix chat did, and none of them managed to get to the lowest lowest level hell, and that's kind of a bummer. I mean, when they presented the layers of hell, they were like, okay, there's 8 layers. Well, the 8th or the 9th one, I can't even remember. Anyway, so the lowest level is...
You fail at hell so much, Artrix, you don't even know how many levels there are.
Well, the lowest level is obviously where Satan is, which is frozen for some reason. Well, we know why it's frozen, but still,
Because he couldn't let it go.
Because Satan let it go, yes.
He let it go, and he went a little bit overboard. So yeah, he kind of got frozen. So I figured if I'm going to hell, I should just try and get to the layer below Satan, because it means I got a nice AC unit on top of me, and the temperature is going to be just right. But then someone pointed out that...
You just said that the lowest level of hell is where Satan is, and now you want to get even lower than that.
Yes.
I think that's not how that works.
Well,
That's the mindset of a Dutch person. He always wants to get lower and lower. I mean, all the Dutch are below the sea level.
Mm-hmm. You see,
is that how they build skyscrapers? They just do like earth scrapers.
You see, instead of
Exactly.
instead of accepting that, no, this is just the way it is. There's nothing you can do about it. Just just work with what you have. Well, yeah, we work with what we have and we make it better. So it's like, okay, so this is one big pile of mud and soggy ground, and you can't really build anything here. And we look at it and we say, well, fuck yeah, we can build shit here. So we just make it a really wealthy country, just out of nothing.
I could imagine that like half of Dutch people would be like living on a big mountain range where there's no sea around that they can free.
Well, they would still be able to get lower though.
Well, yeah, if you're on a mountain range, you can get lower because you can just walk down a mountain. That's not that hard.
Are you saying that the Dutch invented the Underdark?
We invented everything.
Yes, the Dutch are the original Dark Elves.
Hmm? If there's anything you can think of, we invented it. Unless we don't like it, then no, then we didn't. It's that simple. So for instance, yes, we invented Sam Manson, but also no, we didn't, because fuck that.
How about Charles Manson?
We invented him, yes. I don't know how yet. I have to, think of something, but yeah, we did. Unfortunately, he's dead. We didn't invent. We actually didn't invent that. We didn't invent his death. Just in case you're wondering.
Must have been the French.
It was probably the French. You see, what they did was they gave up, and
they gave up on living.
Exactly, they gave up on his life, and that's why he's dead. All this time they were supporting his existence, but then they decided, let's just give up. And he stopped living because the French just refused to keep going.
That's typical French.
So typical of them. Tisk, tisk, tisk. But we still love you, France. You make good croissants. I like those.
And frog legs.
I can go with
Do you think they have a kind of hot dog, except it's a frog leg in a bun?
I'm pretty sure. Now that you mention it, even last time we went to France, which is well over a year ago now, but I did look at their supermarkets, and I do remember at one point seeing frog legs in France. Like, go to supermarket and you go to the refrigerated section, and you can actually see frog legs, pre-packaged and everything. You can just go buy them, go to the register, exchange money for.
I am in France.
But no, we went to a supermarket. It was completely ordinary. Like, they basically sold everything that you can basically buy everywhere else on the planet.
Plus frog legs.
Except for maybe the absurd amount of pasta that you can buy in Italy. I mean, if there's one stereotype of Italy that we basically confirmed recently, is you go to a supermarket in Italy and there's a metric shit ton of pasta products. Like, usually it's only, maybe 5% of the entire store, but it seemed like 50% of the entire store was dedicated to pasta and pasta-related products. It was amazing.
Oh, unlike Greece, they can sell it.
Well, I guess Greece could fit in the discount bin, but
the entire Greece.
The entirety of Greece. Just chuck the entire country in the discount bin. It should at least make its money back, maybe.
Buy a piece of Greece.
But what? Oh yeah, but then no, that would actually cost more, because then you have to dedicate staff to wait and measure it, and that's more costly than just selling the entirety of it. I mean, you got to be practical here. Come on. Anyway,
so it's just going to be an endless chain of people selling grease to other people, so those people can sell grease to other people.
Well, that's economics 101. You buy and sell shit.
Yes, but usually there's some sort of end customer that actually wants to use the thing, but this is just a chain of people selling grease to the next buyer.
Yeah, but
Well,
eventually he still sells it.
I mean, I bought my previous Cintiq, I used it and then I sold it again, even though I'm technically an end user, but not so much anymore.
It can only end. But you bought it with the purpose of drawing on it at least for 3 hours, not for just selling it immediately.
Yeah.
This cycle can only end when grease buys itself. Like with slavery.
Or, the moment someone chucks grease away, they're like, yeah, I have no use for this, so I'm just gonna throw it away. Then I'm sure it's still worth something in the sense of...
I mean, the EU was sure threatening with that.
To just chuck it away?
Yes, but then they kind of stopped and grease has not been chucked away. Grease gib, and the grease is like, you don't have anything, you gib.
Even Greece didn't. Even Greece didn't want any of it, but that doesn't matter.
And now Greece is a countrywide slave.
More or less. But yeah.
That's what we do in 2017. We transcended normal slavery. We just enslave entire countries.
Yeah, but I'm sure we haven't heard the last of it. That it's good for now, but this shit's gonna flare up again. And yeah, then who knows what's gonna happen. But this whole debt crisis in Greece is definitely not over yet. Because they're not exactly making a lot of money.
Or the money they made is German.
Well,
they just keep begging Germany, and Germany's like, here, take this money.
Yeah, but how long are they gonna do that?
I don't know.
Do you want to give Greece your money back?
Not the Greek state directly. A Greek restaurant that has awesome food, which is the case. They, for the ones that you are going in, yes, they can have my money, but not the state of Greece, which is just gonna pocket it for the politicians. But who knows? Maybe the new government will take care of that.
I don't know about that. Also, do they have a new government? Didn't they have like the one that they voted in back in 2013 or whatever it was?
No. Well, we had up to September 2017, we had a big coalition made of CDU.
Oh, you're talking about Germany now, aren't you?
Yes.
I was still talking about Greece, but this is a good segue into the topic because this is yes.
But
before we get into that, just a short little thing, because we are your best news source. There's no better news sources than Radio Rothingham. I'm super serial. I'm not actually serial. So apparently there was a terrible event that happened in the Londons. Like, it's so terrible that Astra isn't even with us because he's so traumatized. There's nothing to do with anything else.
She's so very blind.
She's still alive?
Astra?
We don't know. Even Astra doesn't know. I'm like, Astra, are you alive? She's like, I don't know.
What's this alive you speak of? Anyway, so in London, in the underground to be specific, I mean they're trying their best with their underground. It's cute. I mean,
but they just can't get rid of the mutants.
Anyway, so someone was down in the tube, and they heard like a bang, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's a bang! I'm going to die!" So they screamed and screamed, and then the police were involved, and people trampled one another trying to get out of the trains, and then the police was like, What the fuck are you guys on about? There's absolutely nothing here. We can't even find bullet holes or anything. There was no shooting here.
We can find bullet trains.
No, they couldn't find those either because you only have those in Japan. I don't think they really have bullet trains in UK, Sav. Come on.
They probably have at least one Artrix.
Not in the UK. They have pretty fast trains in UK, but they're not bullet trains.
Are they bullet shaped? Because most of those maglev trains are bullet shaped. I think that qualifies.
I actually don't know. Last time I was in the UK, I might have seen a train that can be construed as a bullet train, but no. So anyway, long story short, there was a whole big commotion around it, like, oh my god, it's a terrorist attack, scream, and then turns out, no, there was absolutely nothing. So let's all count ourselves lucky that this time around it was just a big scare. Nothing serious going on. You can all go back to watching Netflix, and
you can all go back to being British.
Yeah, just apologize a million times for really minor inconveniences and oi Tyrion and all that good jazz. Have some tea and maybe some crumpets. I heard crumpets are good.
Do you think there are crumpets that are tea flavored, or the other way around, a tea that's crumpet flavored?
Oh my god, that's brilliant! Tea flavored crumpets.
For when you need tea and crumpets, but you don't have any tea.
Anyway, so yeah, that was the very excited topic of there was a thing. And it almost looked like it was terrible, but it wasn't. And we should all be very. We should all consider ourselves very lucky. That's just.
Especially the ones who live in the UK.
Nah, it's of no importance to them. I mean, they obviously don't care. No one in UK cared. I do though. You know, usually I don't really care all that much about anything. But
are you trying to say, I think, that nobody you cared?
Yes. Nobody you cared, so I have to do it for them. And anyways, on to our first real topic. So apparently the coalition thingy in Germany isn't really going as smoothly as one would hope. So we got our correspondent from Germany then to elaborate on this.
Well, we had coalition negotiations between three parties: CDU, the party of Merkel, the Greens, and the yellow ones, basically the rich people party. And last Saturday, basically the yellow party was like, "Nope, we're out," and basically ending the coalition negotiations because they pulled out.
Okay.
So basically, right now, the options that we have are either new elections in the new year, then, or a minority government. But right now, in a sick twist of fate, like suddenly the party that said that we are not gonna do a big coalition with the CDU again, suddenly this party is again. Yeah, I think we should start talking again.
And I would say that makes perfect sense. Since...
Well, actually, it doesn't, because they pretty much said after the elections,
it's politics, of course it doesn't.
The people gave us a message they don't want a big coalition anymore, and that's why we won't offer ourselves for coalition negotiations with this party. That's what it was. If they're actually gonna do coalition again, they're gonna lose so many percents. That, yeah.
I guess people got the gist of how coalitions work then. It's like, doesn't matter who wins if there's enough sides with enough votes to clamp together.
Yeah, except this time it didn't work with the three parties. Usually, yes, they would have been a middle ground, but for some reason
it didn't exactly work here either.
Yeah,
for one, nobody likes the prime minister.
I'm not entirely sure if that can be construed as breaking your promise, because under the circumstances where they made that announcement, it was clear that they saw, okay, a lot of people have voted against us. They're not happy with our course of action, so we will drop out. But given that these negotiations are going absolutely nowhere, they might consider it could be construed as,
There were no negotiations going. There are no negotiations anymore right now.
that's the thing. They realize, we are going to have to form some sort of government unless we want elections again. I'm not entirely sure if that's what they want.
Yeah, basically right now, like the conversations, like because there are a big part of the party of the SPD, which is the party in question that we are talking about, is like we don't want to do this, and there are like a few people that said, yeah, we should do it. We should like start talking again, and basically it's gonna like end up like what the party itself is saying. That's gonna be
Well, there's
kind
always,
of dangerous for now.
especially in
But
a
if they
bigger
say-
party. Okay.
Basically, they still need to decide if they actually want to talk to the CDU or if they won't talk to them. Because if they don't talk to them, then we are fine. Then we have to find another solution, which would be the better.
Because I don't see Merkel trying to start a coalition with the AfD anytime soon. Didn't she outright say that no, we don't want that? As a matter of fact, I think
no
even
one wants to have a coalition with them.
I think even the
any morality.
I think even the AfD was like, yeah, we got all these votes, but we don't actually want to enter a coalition.
No, they were pretty much like this even during the
campaign. They were
say,
like, yeah,
campaign. But the people voting for them were pretty much aware of this fact.
that they were like, yeah, we just want to rock the boat.
Exactly.
We're not
that's the
actually,
point.
which is totally fine. I mean, there's plenty of parties like that don't actually get into the government, but they still have political power, either by cooperating with coalition partners or just be there. And
Yeah, but the thing about new elections would be most likely that the AfD would actually lose quite some percent, because right after elections they kinda had internal arguments and some key people left and everything.
are they did they actually lose in recent polling, or is it just something that because
Both, but kinda, because some key figures basically made and founded their own new party.
Oh, okay, so they already have their own splinter parties and whatnot.
Kind of, but let's see where that will head. But basically, new elections would be could be actually be beneficial to to the how do you say, to the big to the established parties that were in there before, because the AfD will lose a few percent, and so maybe there might be an option for a coalition that wouldn't be possible before.
But yeah, things really have to. Shit's really going to have to hit the fan if that's to happen. Usually, re-elections are like a really, really big last resort. And
yeah, but in this case, it has to be that way. If the government, if the parties are so, let's see, so how do you say, not really electable, because like, then yeah, that's kind of on them if they don't have anything proper to show for them, because basically all they did was just like screwing the people over in the last few years.
but
So yeah, the people were like, and the people like during the refugee crisis had concerns about certain things, and like all the established parties didn't even listen to the people, basically forcing their own narrative onto them. And the AfD was basically the only party that was questioning it, and other topics that the other established parties didn't even want to talk about. So that's why people voted the AfD, because that party was actually talking and questioning those topics that also the population wanted to know.
Well, that's one way to get votes. And yeah, like I said, it's biting the big parties in the ass, and it still is. and forming coalition has become quite a chore. So you're saying that they initially wanted to try and form a coalition with the Greens and the fiscal conservatives, right?
Yeah, exactly. Fiscal conservatives, yeah. Well, usually I would have imagined, because in this day and age, I can't really think that the established parties are too different from each other, because they all want to be in power. But in that case, the fiscal conservatives would have needed to do a compromise, and I assume some of the party members from the fiscal conservatives were told by some how do you call those people, by some businessmen basically, or
Lobbyists.
Exactly, by some lobbyists to pull out, because they didn't want them to compromise on this thing.
What a nice non-government you have here. It would be a shame if something happened to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, lovely little mess we got going on in Germany. Meanwhile, in the Netherlands, we got the most mediocre coalition imaginable. It's like everyone's
The
like
Great Coalition.
it's like 4 parties. So yeah, that's just great. It's gonna be fantastic.
Only 4 parties? Pfft, come on.
I'm not.
You can do better.
I'm not even sure at this point. Let's see. It's VVD, which is well, they're calling themselves fiscal conservative, but lately they seem to be more like a left-wing party when you look at their actual policies. We got the D66, which basically just wants to turn Netherlands into a European Union province, so that's grand.
Well, they sound like a name of a highway.
That too. We got.
They just want to build one big highway instead of neither one.
Oh yeah, and the Christian Union is there because, well, they need those extra seats, which is just great.
You want to be in the parliament?
Hey, your views aren't completely terrible, I guess. Join us. You got. I think they got like 5 seats, and it was just enough to form a majority coalition. So now we also got a few Christ facts in there. That
good job. Well, over here it's like nobody can agree on anything a month after the elections, as you do. I mean, usually when we don't have a government, it's not because it fails to assemble. It's because they just disagree in the middle of it, or there's a scandal with somebody being corrupt as fuck, and the government just dissolves. This time, we don't have a government because they didn't agree on anything. So the quote-unquote winning side is trying to find some partners to go with. So far, they got like the Pirate guys, which is basically the Green Party. It's full of leftists that are smoking weed all night, all day.
Oh, and let me guess,
25/7.
And every time they have a meeting, they have to watch an episode of My Little Pony.
Possibly.
Well, I know
I mean, they are for internet neutrality. That's the good part. They are for immigrants and everything else that's evil. That's the bad part. Yeah. And then there's the SPD, which is basically a party that's well, its main talking points are no to Islam and no to immigrants at all ever, and it's headed by a half Japanese guy.
That's hilarious.
It is. Well, those were a possible party to go into coalition with, but they decided to not go there. Maybe because nobody can decide on anything. The only thing that's decided is that the quote-unquote losing democratic parties that used to lead, but these elections they get like 7% each. They banded together into a block of 4 parties. That's like opposition, except there's no government, so it's like pre-opposition coalition, and they basically aim to put as many hindrances to the winning party as possible.
So you're saying that before they managed to form a coalition, they made like a pre-coalition coalition?
Well, it's the anti-coalition. It's like the parties that didn't win, and they're like, hey, let's be friends now and be against the party.
Well, that's actually not that uncommon. parties do tend the opposition. I mean, as you know, you got to do something. So the losing parties in our parliament were like, "Oh, we're going to make our own government plan."
Well, yes, Artrix. They are trying to do something. They're trying to not to get the government going.
Well, no, what I meant is they present their own government plan if they were the ones that were winning, like a counter.
Blackjack and hookers.
So our government is like, the more EU, blah blah blah, and the losing parties are basically like, yeah, exactly the same except for these little minutiae. That's the thing we would do differently. Oh yeah, and of course, give a shit ton of money to everyone. Just borrow more money, and it'll be grand. I mean, never mind that our economy is actually recovering now, so this would be perfect time to, you know, get some growth going, get rid of some of the debt, but no, let's borrow even more.
Yes, obviously. I mean, those are like debt and making the country run. Those are like side things, not important. Also, there's like a plan of the winning party that includes inviting communists into the coalition, and everybody is like, "What the hell? What are you doing? Get out!"
What are you smoking?
Yes, exactly. Well, so far I think they named a communist to the head of the immunity thing that's taking care of well, as the name might tell you, the immunity of the individual MPs and stuff. And so far it looks like most of people are for canceling the immunity on the prime minister so he can be investigated by the police.
GG.
We just got a prime minister, and they finally are, you know, because back when he was like Minister of Finance and Vice Prime Minister, there was a investigation like to undergo, but apparently they didn't agree on giving up his immunity, so he wasn't investigated that much. But now they are, so you know, maybe they are going to do that finally.
But you guys know what happens when you put communists in power. That you should know better. Come on.
Well, so far there's one. And, you know, it turns out that if he wants to get rid of the prime minister, then that's good.
Well, you do have kind of a shitty prime minister right now, from what
We
you've told me.
Well, I mean, he's a sort of a crime lord. In that, like, the past, what it's called, the government term, he spent by basically trying to destroy all his competition. Because he just happens to own the biggest agrarian thing, the biggest agrarian company in this country.
Well, to be fair,
and some hospitals, but he's like, I'm not making any money off the hospitals. I'm not running them. I just happen to own them, and they make me money.
Well, to be fair, every business is trying to destroy the competition in one way or another.
And
but,
then, yes, but he's a politician, so he shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, that's
and also he was kind of caught on camera telling a person from a newspaper he owns what news to let out or not.
That's pretty big no.
Yes.
That's pretty much using his political power to destroy his economic competition.
Yep.
And we don't want that.
Yet people voted for him because since he managed to go on a sort of crusade against like private businesses.
Oh.
Like private shops and shit. Or when you have this old grandma who has a shop that sells fruit on the street.
But
well, now she has to have an electronic cash register and send every transaction to the Ministry of Finance. Obviously, lots of people were like, "Fuck this! I'm ending. I'm closing the shop. I'm not dealing with this. Plus, it's expensive." And then like the well, not necessarily like poor people, but people who don't have much economic agency of their own. So you know, just people who are dredging somewhere, or maybe working in a factory because they can't do anything else. And then they are cheering because those evil profiteers are finally going to be put in their place. It's like, what do you think? How much do you think those people are making? Usually it's not much that you do. Yes, there's lots of money that you make out of it, but you have to reinvest it. Fucking idiots.
You know, it's like you look at an entrepreneurial person and they're doing pretty well for themselves, or at least they make a decent living. And you're like, oh yeah, look at those people. They have it so easy. You know, they have this business and it's just making them money. But they kind of forget the aspect of they probably had to make a fair number of sacrifices.
Indeed.
That to make a living that might not even have worked.
Plus, Artrix is just the fucking bureaucracy. I mean, I would like to see those people who are against those private owners, like to go and fill their fucking what was it called, social security,
Mm-hmm.
and health security. Like fuck that.
Yeah,
they
because
would kill themselves.
At least in this country, if you own your own business, there's no big daddy government that's going to give you money if you get sick. Fuck
Well,
no.
Everybody has to pay Artrix, but when you're employed, your employer is paying that for you.
Yeah.
Basically, well, there's like part that the employer has to pay, and a part that goes out of your salary, which you will never see because it's automatically deducted.
Well,
right? If you are private, then you obviously have to pay that yourself, and
Yes.
that means doing all the bureaucracy yourself, and that's no easy thing, I tell you.
I mean, if you get into an accident and you are unable to work, if
you have just shop for like if you run it, you and your wife, for example, and you get in an accident that makes you unable to work, well, then fuck yeah, your wife is gonna have a nice month.
So yeah, if you work for an employer, well, they are basically forced to make sure that you are insured. So from what I gather, if you get into an accident and you're not able to work for a long period of time, the first 2 years or 2 months, something like that.
That's a small difference.
I mean, that is a huge difference.
That is a huge difference. Anyway,
just to say that here, the employer pays first 2 weeks, and then it's up to the whatever insurance you are insured with.
in other words, it's probably
technically it goes from the state. There's like the Czech social something service.
Well, I pay into the government funds as well, but I think that's only for healthcare.
Oh yes, that's for healthcare, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, we are talking about accidents, right?
Because insurance.
Well, yeah. The point is, if you get an accident or ill for a long time, then the employer and then the state is paying for you. If you have a private business, no such thing.
Nope.
You got pneumonia, well, fuck off and go selling the fruits.
And that insurance is really fucking expensive. Like it almost does. You're almost just better off saving that money than insuring yourself.
Obviously, as usual, I don't remember exactly the percentages, but I think it's like 10%. What is it? 6 plus 4% on the social and health securities.
You mean that you pay to the government?
From that initial salary of yours.
Yeah. So yeah.
But
The point being is if you're running your own business, yeah, there is a shit ton of paperwork you have to take care of, and you have to take risks. If you're just sitting there, just you don't exactly just have the luxury of you just do your thing, and you just get paid.
Yeah, that's not what happens, and that's what the people don't realize, that having a private business is often a 24/7 thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, you go to the factory, work for 8 or in the worst case 12 hours, and then you go home. And then you can just wank until morning.
I would say that is a fault of not proper education in that matter, because
I guess
they teach you about business, but they do not explain how it looks like to have a business.
Unless you go to a economics school, it's not real. I mean, I would argue that the people who are studying for a cook or a waiter or something, those people get more business educations than I got.
That was the funniest thing about my education in art school, Because I didn't actually learn all that much about art in art school. Sure, I learned a bit about art history and some techniques, and
You learn how to sell your art.
No, that's the weirdest thing. I didn't learn anything about selling art. What I did learn, however, was how to do my fucking accounting.
Well, that's good.
That was really good.
That's
It
good.
was one of the most useful subjects in that entire goddamn school. Like
I mean,
once.
in school, it's one of the basic subjects.
Mhm. Well, since you're in law, I wouldn't be surprised actually. I mean, accounting does have a large overlap with law and whatnot.
See, and accounting and just, generally useful stuff, it's not what they teach you in school here. I mean, we had a 1 year of economics, but it was like the general principles of offer and demand, which frankly are things that I already knew from World of Warcraft's auction, so,
Mhm.
It's usually just the basics, unless you go to economic school, then you learn more about that. But
Yeah. So bottom line, the people who like hate the private owners are mostly just seeing all the money they are getting, not knowing the stresses and risks and all the work extra that you have put in and stuff. Which I don't necessarily like. Am against. Like, yes, sure, have your opinion, but your opinion ends up with me buying everything from Lidl because there's no alternative, and I don't like Lidl. They have terrible sausages.
But they have decent bread.
really,
Well, it depends on Lidl you go to. I like the bread in Germany.
Some have better bread.
Well, see, that's the thing, Artrix. In the city I was in university, they had a terrible bread. It would like get dry in 2 days and smell terribly.
Oh yeah, that doesn't sound good.
I think they used some, I don't know. I guess our flour is better than their flour.
I mean, I buy my bread every other day, so. But it also really depends on.
Artrix,
what bread you buy.
Artrix. I buy bread when I ran out of bread.
Which is how many times?
I don't know. It always takes a different time.
Well, I usually buy bread when I'm out of bread too.
Do you ration your bread, Artrix? Like, oh my god, I still have to eat 2 slices today.
Well, I usually make sure I've got enough bread in my house. You see, you see that's a bit of basic home economics right there.
Yes, and then you
Because-
eat the bread.
Because I don't
And
ever.
when there's no more bread, then you buy new bread.
Because I'm not like my former roommate who basically has a
Unless
girlfriend that
Artrix.
has to do it for him.
Unless, Artrix, you don't eat the bread, and they're like, oh no, I have this half of loaf of bread that's completely rock solid. Well, I guess I'll have to buy new bread then.
Yes. Fortunately, that doesn't happen all that often to me. For one thing, I eat a shit ton of bread, or at least I've been told. I eat like. Actually, I kind of cut down on it. I used to eat 6 slices every morning, but I cut down to 4.
What?
Which is
that's a lot.
6 slices just for breakfast?
yes.
What? Artrix? It's like 2 with me at best.
Well, now I have 4 slices, and that's let's do. It's
Artrix,
just
that's
right.
2 to 4 times more than I do at best.
Well, I guess I have a very healthy appetite then.
Yes,
Or-
for bread.
I'd like
Yes.
to add.
You are a bread whore, Artrix.
I sure am.
Artrix.
Maybe that's why I like Bernd das Brot so much. Anyway, yes, go ahead. Yes, say it. Spit it out.
I agree.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Now I can. Now I can't.
Say it.
You kinda sounded like you were yelling Akbar, but I don't think that was what you were going for.
Dang it.
But
So
did
much Artrix late.
I'm
Considering how much bread he eats.
Artrix, tell us about your body.
well, my body. I am currently about 85 to 90 kilos.
How much do you exercise?
I don't.
He's an artist, come on. The only thing he exercises is his wrist.
Exactly.
Seriously, you must have one amazing metabolism.
Yeah, I guess I do. Well, it also helps quite a lot that I completely cut out my sugar intake.
Except for the bread.
Yeah, but even though
There's sugar in bread, Artrix.
There's some
sugar
sugar.
in almost everything.
Yes, there's sugar in bread, but not as much as, for instance, a cup of coffee, and you put 2 lumps of sugar in there, and you drink like 6 cups of coffee a day. So that's already metric shit ton of sugar just in the coffee. But then you also eat sweets and pudding and God knows how many sweets, and then you discover, yeah, I'm overweight. And then
Good job.
Yeah, but then I stopped eating sugar, and it helped quite a bit.
Just a box of sugar cubes and shoveling them into your mouth. I bet you were doing that.
No. Fortunately, I wasn't.
Gross.
It's like, look, a sugar cube is a easily accessible discount snack.
Mm-hmm.
It's like candies except sugar cubes.
Yes.
You can build a house out of them and then eat it.
And then have the entire structure tumble down on you because you
have to eat it from the roof like a wind.
But you no, because you'd be inside the house. So you're just sitting in your house and you see a wall made of sugar and you just take a cube.
Okay, I didn't mean a house of such magnitude.
And then you discover
How much you even get on the sugar for that?
And then you discover that it was a bearing wall. So it all comes tumbling down, and then you're dead because
Alex, if you build it yourself, then you know what the main support walls are. So you're like, okay, I can eat this much, but I can't eat this. Also, I don't think at least that would be profitable. Like the sugar would probably cost almost as much as a real house.
It probably would. Though, to be fair, we don't live in America, and Pepsi throwback doesn't exist here, so...
Oh no, Artrix, I'm pretty sure that the house made of sugar cubes would be more solid than American houses.
That too. Or those in Norway. For some reason, they make houses out of wood in Norway.
Well, that's because they have forests, traditionally.
Yes. They have more than enough wood to work with. Maybe a little bit too much, even.
Also, see the doctor.
Also, for some reason, they paint their houses red.
It's the word of the Mies.
Or it's because their flag is red and white, so they're like, oh yeah.
Maybe those are colors that work against mooses.
So they were like, oh, we gotta stick to a common theme, you guys.
We got a moose problem. What works against Mies? I
realized something.
Oh no.
We haven't even talked about any of the topics yet.
What topics?
Well, so far we only covered the German elections, and that's it. So
and our elections.
Then all the elections. That's the name of the episode now. All the elections.
No.
Sounds about right.
But yeah, we should bring up some topics that are not related to elections. I think you had at least one topic, Sekele.
There was 10 topics. No, you.
For example, that Overwatch might get banned by the EU thanks to
indeed.
Battlefront 2.
I mean, you went from the opposite end on that thing, but I think we can still salvage it. You know, sometimes it happens that countries or I guess
is Belgium a country?
I think it would be one. It's a country that's even like heading the EU, which is even more surprising that they made a reasonable decision.
Well, given that they host the EU, would that make them a country? Doesn't that kind of prove the other thing? That they're just a vessel for the EU government? That like
the avatar.
Yeah, they're like the avatar of the EU. It's like if the EU were on a form, the Belgium would just be its avatar.
Yes, that's exactly how it works. Well, they were like, what is all these ruckus with the loot boxes? Why don't people like that? And they look into it. Oh, it might be gambling. Let's investigate. And they investigated and like, yep, that's gambling.
Mm-hmm.
And American Course did that too. Obviously, they added it preys on the children. Think of the children part.
Would someone think of the children?
Yeah.
But
Please, someone, please think of the children.
No, I'm not a pedophile, thanks.
But yeah, interesting development. It was pretty much followed up by this whole thing with Battlefront Field. You know, that Star Wars game that was coming out lately. People didn't like it.
Battlefront. I'm very baffled by it.
Gamblefront.
Yes, that too. And the best part is that EA didn't learn anything. You know, after they were like, we are going to shut down the things, so you don't have to pay. Well, you know, it's not really true. Everything still costs money, and you can still buy star cards, which is pretty shitty because then any sense of progression goes out of the window because you can just buy the best things and go. Why would I play that? Why would I consider? Okay, I know your plan is to enable to sell this, so more people are like, oh no, this guy has the thing that he bought. I have no chance against him. Better buy it too. No, the effect is, why should I buy this?
Why should I even play this game?
Well, yes, I mean, for playing, you probably have to buy it. I think I understood that's how games work. Like, that's the business model. First you buy it, then you play, but I'm not entirely sure anymore. It's more like first you buy, then you buy more. Then you maybe play. Possibly.
Yeah, right now, all the big games are pretty much set up to you buy, or better buy the bigger edition that there's also some additional content. Oh, and then
Yes.
Get this DLC. Oh yeah, and you are gonna get way slower progression than in the previous game because you know you aren't supposed to get a lot of progress quickly. You are supposed to be grind so much that you wish that you can just spend money to speed it up.
I wish that there was not so much. Oh, hey, money!
Yeah,
You know, that's the thing with big games these days. It's all the AAA shits with the giant studios, and the giant studios are owned by like 7 other companies, and it's all revolving around publishers and money, which is not the thing like ideally that should be, because then everybody is just thinking about the money part of it. I mean, we saw that with World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft turned from a MMO into a nearly single-player Skinner box, basically like Candy Crush experience, and yeah, it's gone to shit because I mean it was even stated goal of one of the reps of Activision who bought Blizzard in 2010 or where was it? 2009, I think. They decided to went to go to the instant gratification model rather than reward over time, and that's what kills these like MMO-ish things. I mean, let's admit it. Battlefront is arena shooter. They still call it MMO for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah. So the point here was that everything revolves around money, and as Dan Barbara said, when they were doing the development logs on Kingdom Come Deliverance, publishers are basically the evil that hinders the game business because that everything just revolves around money. And yes, I said before, that's how you end up with new Assassin's Creed every year with minimal changes. Ironically, they did change something in Assassin's Creed because they realized that it's complete crap. Also, the progression these days means exactly what Buck said, just grind everything forever.
And now it gets even better because since we are talking about Activision, a person on Reddit actually recently found out that Destiny 2 is lying about your experience.
Yes.
Yeah, basically, the more you try to grind, the more the game actually throttles your XP gain. Because you know you can use XP to level, and every level up nets you one of the bright engrams, which is basically their loot box. And if you grind too much and you know you are making too much progress, the game just throttles your EXP.
Oh no, he's progressing too fast. He can't possibly enjoy this game. Better slow him down.
So they are basically forcing you into a pay-to-win situation.
Exactly.
You know, I wouldn't think I'd ever say this, but I think I liked what China did more. Because at least when China decided to time gate World of Warcraft, like there was like 3 hours, and then your experience dropped like to 30% or 10% or something. Their stated goal was to make people not sit at their computer the entire day. I mean, at least something then.
Yeah, but at least people were made aware of that that's actually was a thing with the gating and everything. Destiny 2 doesn't tell you anything. Basically, you get like let's say 15,000 XP. Your bar has 80,000 XP. You get 15,000 XP, and the bar just fills like 2 pixels instead of like let's say a fifth of the bar.
That is pretty scummy.
Yeah, and it's Activision, which is also Activision Blizzard. We actually don't know in which amount it actually pulls the tactic in other games. It also belonged to Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
But yeah, in my opinion, progression based around random drops is kinda, I don't know.
You know,
I don't like it.
back that actually does happen in World of Warcraft.
That happens in every MMO ever. Almost.
Well, okay, yes, but usually it's like, okay, you have this guy, he drops this and this and this and this, and it's like 8 items, but only 2 drop at a time. That's sort of fair-ish.
Yeah,
obviously, your luck is that you see that item once and a fucking hunter steals it from you. But now in Legion, was it in Draenor? I don't think. But in any case, in Legion, when you are in raids and you kill a dude, the gear that drops has a random row on it on stats. So you can just farm that guy for months and still get the inferior version of the item because the RNG did not decide to roll +5 stamina on it or something. It's great. It's like Diablo 3 by now, except you have to put much more work into it.
At least in Diablo 3, you can still trade the items that you get. So basically, you have some item and you think, I don't need this item because I don't play this class. Look, you are not playing the class that I'm playing, and you have the item that I need. Let's trade.
Oh no, but they axed that from World of Warcraft. Now always what drops is always for you because stats on items are governed by what you are. So they axed it down to primary stat, stamina, and some like plus things like critical strike. So not the main stats. So if you are a healer, you get intellect plus stamina. If you respect to damage from that healer, you get let's say you have a multi-class, like you have a druid that can tank and also can be a caster. So you are a heal druid, you get intellect, and then you reroll to a tank, and suddenly the same item has strength for you. Isn't that beautiful?
It doesn't make much sense.
So you don't have to ever trade with anybody again. Plus, it's all random. Also, like legendary items that at the game started, they were fairly legendary. Like you had a quest chain that got like 20 quests, and you needed 40 people for almost every of those. Today, you just get it basically for free by just questing, and then you have to grind because there's some legendary artifact power that's basically a talent tree because they took out the talent tree from the game over like 3 expansions, and then they put it back, except it's on your weapon, and you have to grind for it. Isn't that great?
Anyway, the real question is...
It's like forced progression. There's not even progression. It's like, it's forced progression.
Anyway,
Well,
so... Oh, go ahead.
What happened is that governments looked at this, especially the one in Belgium, and basically said, well, this is pretty scummy, so we should not allow this. And now they are essentially trying to get any game that has loot boxes in it banned in the EU.
Which is completely fine with me. It's like the first reasonable thing EU did.
Or just make them force them to, which is basically the same thing, force them to change their business model so they comply with regulations. And so far it is only in Belgium and Netherlands. From what I get, in Netherlands, Games Commission has also had a thing or two to say. But yeah, we'll have to see if the EU is gonna get involved.
Yeah, but this is kind of the weird thing that I have seen. Like I think about 10 years ago, like there's Pokemon Platinum that was released, and we remember as European player they removed the game corner from the game. Like basically not the game corner but the slot machines because it was gambling. Otherwise they would have set it to 18 plus or something for a Pokemon game. And it was just the in-game stuff. Like you didn't even have any chance to because microtransaction went a thing, but then and they removed it from the game. All the stuff in the remakes of the games from now Ruby and Sapphire, they also removed the game corner completely.
That's interesting.
Exactly, and now you have actual paid, let's say, glorified slot machines pretty much, and suddenly they are okay now.
Yeah,
but it's not.
No, they're not. They're not. According to these studies, they are not okay. They deemed them to be gambling.
Well, now they are not okay. Suddenly.
Yeah, before this, there were so many people defending them.
I mean, do you remember that excuse? I think was it Blizzard had in China. It's like you don't buy stuff in game. You just give us the donation, and the loot box is a plus. It's like a reward for the donation that you give us out of selflessness.
Of course, this ban on loot boxes, less serious offenders, like for example Overwatch, where the loot boxes are basically just
skins, and most of the skins are shit. That should be criminal. Shitty course.
Yeah, but the thing that
to play the game, like it's completely optional. It doesn't affect the gameplay for the most part, unless you shit around with skins to make.
Yeah, but the skins are pretty much the only progression that you get in the game. Basically, you can either just play, and you don't really have any progression besides the loot boxes that you get in the game.
Rankings and the league, so there.
And it doesn't, and it of course happens to be that when you get the free loot box for your level up, it happens to have this anticipation moment where basically the loot box shakes a bit, like it lets you wait. It doesn't show the items instantly. It's just like kind of like makes you wait, and then something's shaking and the items come out, and basically all the boxes do this.
Yeah, you've made this argument a few times. It does kind of make you sound like an old dude.
Interesting, like the boxes are so good, and they are not bad at all. That when China said that every box like this has to reveal when you can buy them, has to reveal the odds, Blizzard just went out and just used a loophole, and they basically were buying the symbolic amount of currency of credits, like basically nothing, and you happen to get a gift of a free loot box. And they did the same in Hearthstone, and when you originally bought one dust, and you happen to get boosters for free with this one dust.
Yeah, but in that system you can essentially.
And they didn't need to reveal the odds, which is pretty much scummy in my opinion, because they don't want to show the odds of.
But it would allow people to essentially buy the items that they want up front. But then you have to go into the territory of is that actually a fair deal? If it turns out you have to pay like $600 for legendary, then no.
No, I'm talking about something completely different. I'm talking about that if China, for example, our game has one of those loot boxes where you basically have those randomizers. They have to reveal the odds. Basically, they have to tell you, yes, we have, like, for example, 2% chance to get a legendary. And they would have need to do it. But if Blizzard rather instead, like many other companies, they actually reveal the odds. They just claim they are just China exclusive. The odds are different in other countries. But Blizzard was like, nope, we are not wanting to reveal them at all. We rather use a scummy loophole where you basically just buy literally one dust. Like basically it doesn't get you close to anything, and then you happen to get a free Hearthstone booster.
Okay. So what they did in
Hearthstone
Overwatch with the donations and loot boxes, that's basically what they did in Hearthstone too.
Yeah, exactly. Overwatch, you also get a small bit of dust that doesn't get you anything. You happen to get a loot box with it.
Yes, it just happened.
The Overwatch also has the upside that you can actually buy the stuff with in-game currency.
That you also can only acquire randomly, because you have to also randomly get the credits.
The event items, yes. Although I think that even some of the event items can.
At least from what I noticed in Overfuck, the items are, when compared to the rate at which you gain all the dust or credits rather, they are less expensive as in Hearthstone, because in Hearthstone everything costs a metric shitfuck ton of dust when you get like 5 from disenchanting, and not even mentioning like the special rewards from Arena, which is like 50 dust. Wow, that helped so much when the cards is 800.
Yeah, but the thing about Overwatch is that most of the skins that they release, like every new event that releases skins, the skin is only time limited. So basically, either you get your credits together or
you wait for the next year and hope.
Exactly, yeah. And it's like kind of like most of the skins upgrades also put like the pressure on you, like get the skin now. You have either to grind the game or you're shit out of luck.
Well, at least in Paladins, when you have an exclusive skin, it's either tied to some convention, so you know that kind of makes sense, or it's like one of the it's still a beta. Buy this skin, it won't be available in the final release, and shit like that.
Well, it is still a system that. Yeah, go ahead.
Items from what we've seen now are coming back, like the Christmas item. Well, not yet.
Yeah, we were talking about
the Halloween items from last year.
Yes, I mean,
from last year.
Event items should come back. There's no reason to not have them back. They're just event items. If you don't say upfront this is limited once and then it's going to be forever gone. I mean, okay, League of Legends actually did the opposite. They took some of the skins that were normally available and put them into what do they call it, the vault, and made them limited. And they just randomly sometimes put them back on, but most of the time they are not available, which is a pretty shitty move.
I mean, it's completely understandable from a business point of view to make things limited. Businesses do this thing all the time in basically any industry. You know, just look at Black Friday, which is a topic in and of itself.
But that doesn't mean that just because someone else is doing it, that it justifies that someone. Just because someone else does something bad doesn't justify that they can.
Yes, but
do
I don't even think it's inherently bad. I mean,
you don't think that? Yeah,
it is very inherently bad towards the customer. But as I said before, publishers, shareholders, money. From the money standpoint, oh my god, that company is making $2 more than we do. We have to have this too.
A business is perfectly capable and allowed to decide how to sell its goods and services, and if they decide to make it a limited offer, then that's their problem.
Tell that to the tobacco industry, to the alcohol industry, to the actual gambling industry. Tell that to them, that they are completely allowed to do what they want.
No.
Yeah, well, Artrix, see, that's like, okay, you have a point. The thing is, then people come in and let the market decide it. Yes. Well, the market will decide for the stupid thing, because market includes people. People are retarded. If people weren't retarded, then, as Buck said, there would be no gambling problems.
Yeah, so I totally agree that if, especially when it comes to children, when they are roped in a situation where they are essentially gambling, sure. But if they change the situation where you can just outright buy credits or whatever, or have the option to just grind for it, I think no one would have a problem with it, even with the timed events.
Honestly, this shit only becomes a real problem once it literally becomes pay to win.
Yeah. Artrix, what you mean by grinding obviously is reasonable grinding, not the grinding they have in games these days.
Just
like
grind.
You get, I don't know, 20 credits per game. The skin is 20,000 credits.
Because that's retarded.
Yeah,
But
but
that's
I
what they
still,
do in these games.
yeah, but I still
Like
think that.
that's
Yeah, still think the example you did with that the company is earning $2 more this way. But in my opinion, well, for them, of course, they are those, but are those $2 more earning more actually worth it? All those bad reputation that you get after it for like qualifying gambling machine. If you had at least traditional, quote unquote, gameplay where you'd either unlock it by playing it or with this fantasy currency that you got directly, like you would, instead of getting loot boxes through playing the game, you would actually get the currency, and then you could actually choose directly which item you want. But that wouldn't be like, that would like make them earn $2 less, and then
Yes.
they wouldn't be able to supply you with free updates because Blizzard isn't making a lot of money off.
No. The
They are
reason
smart.
why they can't make updates is because people are toxic, Buck. Didn't you read the news?
Yeah.
Because apparently that designer people have to deal with trolls. Troll means person who disagrees with you,
Yeah,
not an
that
actual troll.
sounds hard to believe.
Can I really segue?
No, Artrix. They actually, like, there was some news that they made a anti-toxicity team, and it included people from design, and that was tying into the news from before when Kaplan said that.
Yeah, you
because
mean one
that
of
team has to
their
deal- has to
direct,
deal
so
with-
to speak.
Yes.
Yeah.
He said that they have to deal with toxicity, and that's taking resources from the team, so they can't make new maps and shit.
Yeah, that
Like,
sounds like a mismanagement of resources.
Okay. A, that's retarded. B, even when they said that people from design are on that team, people from design don't do that much.
Wait, you're arguing that they don't do much as this?
No, they don't do much as design. Like,
Wow.
design is not the major part of the maps.
I
You
don't know.
you do that once. Then you go to the graphics people and like, make this. I'm gonna have to
Oh,
fight
so-
trolls now.
Yes, because I'm sure that there even with new maps there's a lot of graphics involved. But
Yeah.
if it's just
So
design.
designing the map itself doesn't take that much time compared to how much hours you have to spend on making the map.
Actually making the map, yes, because the maps in Overwatch are incredibly detailed. But that's besides the point.
Yes, the point is that Kaplan is a cuck.
Yeah, can't really.
Speaking of
No, I had to make that joke because like the name just like Kaplan.
Top cack.
Um,
Anyway, you wanted to say something?
I just wanted to use it as a segue
Oh,
into the fact that
before we do that, just to let Beck finish his thing, because I don't think it's gonna be.
yeah, there's a famous right now. A person published a comic about his bike being stolen, and that he's fine with it because the total happiness in the world increased.
Yes, because the thief was probably more happy about getting the bike than the person was sad about losing the bike.
Never mind that he probably just sold the bike for meth or whatever, but
Exactly.
okay. Well, that does make people happy.
Well, that's before they ran out of meth.
But yeah, I actually kind of dug through his Twitter. He at least thinks for himself. It's not like one of those drones you see droning about. So I'll have to give him that. The reasoning in the actual comic is kind of iffy though. It's like, oh yeah, so I'm bummed, but since the guy stole it is probably happy, I should be happy too. And he explained that basically comes down to, yeah, don't get hung up too much over something like that. Like, yeah, sure, it's not the best thing to happen to you, but just count your blessings and move on. Which
Yeah,
is,
but as somebody made the edit, it's like somebody stole my bike. I'm pretty bummed about it, but it wasn't that important to me. No, instead that was the happiness thing, and everybody started making fun of that.
Mhm.
Yes, you do.
but yeah, not exactly the best way of phrasing it.
Mhm. But yeah, eventually someone made an edit with someone
Neutrality.
just someone just fucked my wife.
Oh, there's that version too. Well, I suppose you can
Exactly,
make.
and that version was what actually created the name bike cuck, because
Oh.
someone made this version where you got actually cucked, and that's how it was actually the name got actually created.
Didn't the actual creator then go around and make an alternative version where he just went back in time and said, "No, you're an idiot."
No, that's
Yes.
related to the other topic
Oh.
that we might bring up.
Well, basically, Artrix, look, everybody made parodies of it, and he was like, okay, you should stop harassing me. Nobody should harass artists. Come on, that's bad. I would defend other people like Dobson and Buckley. No, wait, actually, I wouldn't defend Buckley. That's a mistake. No, he said that. It's like, no, Buckley, not my bad.
Yeah, I read those tweets. That was actually pretty clever.
It's
Yeah,
like, I mean, the thought process must have been like, okay, well, who was harassed? Dobson, Buckley. No, wait, Buckley is a pedophile. Shit.
Yeah, but there were also like comments, like, because he was complaining about being like not
Oh,
harassed.
yeah, he actually did tweet, please don't call me a bike cuck.
Yeah. And then people were like, we are more happy calling you a bike hack than you are annoyed or sad about it.
Yes.
And then you would be.
Oh,
About the
God.
game
Overall
bike hack.
happiness increase.
They actually used that as the point against the comic, and then he got it.
Yeah, and then he went for a hiatus for like 2 days, and he was like, okay, I'm a retard. How did I get so entitled? Jeez, sorry guys. Also, the bike jokes are pretty funny, actually. No, he meant the comic redraws. And then he made his own about the net neutrality.
Oh wait, he made that one?
Yeah, he made the same comic basically. Oh, my net neutrality went away, but hey, I guess whoever took it away was more happy than I was losing it. And there was his future version coming out of a portal and just, no, you stupid fuck.
Top cack.
That was a good edit.
But yeah, the net neutrality is gone. RIP.
In US.
Is it gone? I thought they are still convincing the people.
No, I think they actually now they actually have now
declared
decided that it's gone. Yeah,
Oh.
that it's gone. And then of course Comcast posted a tweet that we won't throttle and do anything, like the Comcast, like, because then,
But yes, obviously, back they won't throttle anything. They will just make you pay for accessing YouTube.
But yeah, it's Comcast, so by default it's gonna be evil. I mean, it's
but
Comcast.
that's the thing. But like they were like, we promise that we won't throttle and do anything. Like, and then of course comments were like, yeah,
right.
if you don't want to throttle us and anything, then why did you push so much forward to get the net neutrality published?
But it's gonna be niftier TV. Don't you
I
like
don't want
TV?
niftier TV. I'm not watching TV for the past. How many years it is since they made it into digital signal?
Oh fuck! I cancelled my TV subscription. Apparently, I
Well,
was
well,
paying
well,
almost
well.
20 quid a month for TV,
Yes,
and I haven't
Artrix,
watched in months.
We also canceled our TV because they went into digital signal and our antenna cannot into digital signal. And I'm like,
But-
no, fuck this. We don't want to buy set-top box. That's like money, and you have to set the set-top box.
Okay. Because they would
You
probably.
know, isn't it kind of ironic? Guys? It's a set-top box. You set it on the top and you are done. Except not. You have to set it up, which takes
Yes.
hours sometimes. It's like one of those. Like if you have a TV and you break your remote, then you buy one of those universal ones, and you have to spend like 3 hours setting it up in Chinese.
Yeah,
That's-
I hate set-top box, which is one of the reasons I cancelled it, but not really because.
Look at this new technology. It's fucking annoying. I'm canceling.
Well, they finally kind of got it to work in the sense that you can use one remote and through your HDMI you can control all devices, or you don't have to constantly switch between between remotes. But still, it's such a pain in the arse. I just want my TV to have a IPTV receiver and be done with it. To quote Trudeau, it is 2017.
You have to get used to this or something. It's a part and parcel of living in a modern society.
Fucking kill them all.
Yes, kill all set-top boxes.
Yeah. All I want is Rottweiler set-top boxes. Come on.
Indeed. Well, also, since I mentioned TV, apparently YouTube is trying to become relevant by starting to be the most irrelevant thing ever.
Oh yeah, their CEO was like, yeah, let's turn YouTube into niftier TV.
YouTube, you know your success comes from not being a TV, right? Right? Left? No? Okay, fine, bye.
Yeah.
Do that.
YouTube is really switching away from, well, the U in YouTube and become more and more just mainstream. Because, well, for one thing, they've been attacked by the mainstream because they're not mainstream.
That's a lot of stream.
They're like, oh yeah, YouTube is evil because these ads are shown on literal nuts. Oh yeah, go ahead, Sekla.
The mainstream even care about TV anymore? Like seriously?
Except for people who are already used to watching TV, as in people over 30 minus Artrix.
There's a lot of people. My generation is even included in the millennials. So we all know that millennials.
How does that make you feel, Artrix? You had to reason everything went wrong.
Nah, I just say fuck it, not me.
Like I caused the Chernobyl with my birth. Fear me.
No. That's my brother. My brother was born, and then Chernobyl happened, or Chernobyl, and he was. My brother was like, oh, how quaint.
That's fucking brutal.
That's exactly how he sounded, by the way. He was born, and he was like, how quaint. Dear parents, can you please turn on the television so I can watch the new recent events as they unfold up there in the Soviet Union, which is what I believe to be one of the major superpowers that we have in the world right now. And then parents like, you all meh?
But in Dutch.
But in Dutch. So parents were like, what?
What?
Oh, what? So yeah. I believe Sekla wanted to bring something up, and we kept talking over him, which is very rude.
We were talking about YouTube. YouTube is nice, except not.
Is that what you want to talk about, Sekla?
Something else, but
okay.
What was it? Tell us.
Let's talk about YouTube, because I think we pretty much have anything to say about it, and then we'll get back to Sekla's topic.
What's this YouTube?
They make it worse.
Yes, obviously. I mean,
remove any reason why people came there in the first place.
Indeed, it's the very opposite. It's like, okay, there's this site, and you can put cat videos on it. It can be your own cat. Yes, you can make a video and put it on. It doesn't have to be a cat. It even can be you.
You can even create.
I'm going to put the you in me on YouTube, and then they did it. Then some of them had money.
You can even upload the world's least professional podcast on it.
That's true. For now.
Don't worry if YouTube eventually kicks us out. We can just all move to minds.com.
Yes, and then people were like, yes, this is good. We like this. We can make videos, and we can now even make money because ads. And then we are popular, and YouTube is taking like, I don't know how many percent, 50. How much money does YouTube take from you? If you monetize?
Well, right now, absolutely nothing, because...
Okay, when you are a person who actually gets money on YouTube?
Well, when my pony video was doing pretty well, I earned 70 quid in about 3 months.
Yes.
If maybe even more than 3 months. So, as you can imagine, not a whole lot. That video is currently sitting about 600.
How much did YouTube take from the 70 quits?
About... Well, that's what I got. So they already took.
So they don't tell you disclosed what they take.
I think they do, but
somewhere else.
It's been a while since that actually happened.
Okay. Well, they take some part of it, so YouTube is full of. Then Google came and bought YouTube. Then they redesigned the web page every 3 months, so you would have to be like prepared. It's like you wake up, you go to YouTube, like, oh my god, where's the play button? Oh, it's up up here under the address bar. Oh no, the play button has disappeared. It's now down there in terms of service.
Yeah,
That's basically how the redesigns felt. And then Google is like, well, we have this platform and there's some money coming from it. And oh, okay, people are yelling at us that we are not a TV. Apparently we are better than TVs, and that makes us bad people. But now, oh, I know, we are going to be a TV now.
Don't forget the part where YouTube is showing videos, ads with actual Nazi videos, and that makes people very upset.
Because advertisers care very much.
Because YouTube obviously handpicked that ad and put it there.
Yes.
I mean, it's not like everyone and their mother knows that this is all automated.
It was a campaign of subversion. YouTube just wants to damage these ad people who are paying YouTube for the ads.
Mm-hmm.
But should anybody believe that? Should anybody be like, yes, YouTube is putting this thing unrestrictedly because
this is
the paying clients of itself.
This is the same mainstream media that tells you that you're not allowed to look at WikiLeaks. Only they are allowed to do it.
Yes, obviously, because you know that other media like Twitter, specifically Trump's Twitter, is bad because then he can influence the public opinion and tell people what to think, and that's their job.
I mean, both are wrong. I mean, he's the president. He's just supposed to do his fucking job.
And it kind of like boils down to that. On one hand, you have the traditional media, which includes TV, who are like this big, terribly inflexible, kind of like European Union, inflexible organizations that have a hard time to adapt to any changes. On the other hand, you just have people doing what they peep, and there's a new fad every month. People are up with that. Not the same people necessarily, but there's enough people for trending videos to be trending because of that. You have a person who likes frogs. Suddenly, frogs are this month's fad. Yes, frog videos.
I mean, back in like the late 90s, I would have never imagined that I could find a channel that does nothing but take old technology like video recorders and old tape recorders and whatnot, and there's an entire channel about it, and I can watch it for free, and it's done by a guy that legitimately cares about the subject.
Yeah.
Or you can watch a video about a guy smashing eggs.
You can do that. Apparently people like that.
Or
as well as a person screaming rape at barrels.
Or you watch some dude draw the cartoon chick from the late 2000s.
Yes.
Well, we're talking about stupid shit. Anyway,
Artrix, I don't think anybody's old enough to remember the late 2000s.
Now they are going to be the ones to decide what you watch and when you watch it. What's the purpose?
Well, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
I ain't watching that shit. I'm not gonna go back to TV.
Yes, YouTube.
The point why these sites became popular in the first place is because you can choose what you want to watch.
Yes, exactly. That's the internet at large. That's the reason why everybody was saying that TV is becoming obsolete. Because why would you just like?
Do they want?
TV has a schedule. Why would you just? Why would you have to cancel everything to be at your TV at 5 in the evening so you can watch a thing you want when you can just go on the internet and watch it at 3 a.m.?
Do they want to make it like TV when TV is dying because of it?
Well, they kind of want to make it more like Netflix, but it involves hiring people, especially for that. Not necessarily even like internet people, like actual people that live in outside world sometimes. And like, why? No, we already have quote-unquote stars on here that people watch. Why would you have to drag in some stuff from outside? Nobody's interested in that.
That was something very telling from the that promotional video that they did on YouTube, where they brought in maybe two quote-unquote YouTube celebs, and everyone else was basically just regular celebrities, and most of them were like, "What the fuck are you? And why should I care?"
And who were those YouTube celebrities, by the way?
Like I said, I don't know and I don't care.
Easily forgettable. It's like, yes, I have heard this name before. And 30 minutes later, you're like, I don't know
It's
who those people are.
because I was told they were celebrities. Because I see
Whatever
those people appear
you-
on the screen and I'm like, who are you?
Well, that's true, but you heard the names rather. But this-
Unless, regardless of whether you hate him, if I
Yes.
was present, then they are out of touch. So, there is no one bigger on the site right now. So
Wait, PewDiePie is still the biggest YouTuber on YouTube?
yes,
Oh.
Yeah.
screaming rape at barrels is very popular.
That's very apparent.
Or was. I mean, he toned down a bit from what I heard.
You'd think he'd be gone. He'd be.
Nowadays,
gone,
he's not screaming as much. He's more like nigger.
like
That's his
like
shtick now.
that seems to be the case.
He-
Anyway,
he's
anyway,
niggering the place up.
Anyway, shut the fuck up because
Now you fucking nigger.
Sekele wanted to bring something up, and god damn it, I'm gonna let him. So
Oh,
Yeah, let the nigger speak.
far off topics that I'm not sure even if it's still relevant, but I'm going to try anyway.
Where do you forget?
So back to the whole Star Wars Battlefront bullshit. How the media were somehow defending them.
Yes.
And then you
yes.
see games like Cuphead, indie games.
The Dark Souls of 2D platformers.
All that corporate bullshit, and yet they still make a ton of money, and then suddenly the media hates them. Because now, apparently, Cuphead is racist.
Yes, it is.
Say it, you are a racist, and you are a horrible person, and you have to pay for it.
Well, I can be a racist for free, but if you want to hire me,
50 quid an hour.
yes.
But yeah, this whole quote unquote with big quotes controversy around Cuphead, because I don't believe it's actually controversy. It's
I think
just
it's basically the corporations paying the media to destroy their competition.
Well,
before
isn't
the
it
law.
like most of internet controversies? It's like somebody not liking a
But-
thing,
but-
like,
but
hey,
this-
hey, media, do a thing.
But this one seems even more manufactured than usual, because when Cuphead came out, no one really seemed to have much a problem with it. Even like the quote-unquote games journalists.
No, they had a very big problem to get through the tutorial articles. What I'm talking about.
Aside from that, they had no problems with it. I mean, they even seem to be universally praising the art style and whatnot. But now, suddenly, oh my god, the art style is problematic. And we need to do something
Yeah.
about it. Because, since you're using that art style, that obviously means you're racist, because in that era, people were racist. That means you're racist, because you're using that art style. I'm trying to follow that line of logic, but it's
Well,
not working for me. I don't know why.
Look, see, Artrix, I mean, if you noticed, the not offense, the oppression is hereditary. If your grandfather was a slave, you are a slave. If your grandfather was a slaver, you are a slaver. Done.
Matter if your grandfather was. It only matters that you happen to have the same skin color.
Yes, because they are collectivists. That's true. It's not on individual level. It's like, yes, blacks were always slaves forever.
So yeah, this whole quote unquote. Go ahead.
And since people made fun of black people sometimes in the 20s and 30s, and now apparently because digital blackface is a thing. Well, yeah. Since the cartoons made like exaggerated depictions of black people and shit, and this happens to use the same art style, obviously it's complicit in the slave trade. And then, I mean, I read one article on it, and it was enough because it was clearly just a person trying to rile up people. Like, I don't think it was Kotaku, I think. I'm not sure. But even the people even the people in the comments were like, "What the fuck are you talking about, mate?"
Anyways, Sekele, and I'm going to have him.
I just wanted to point out that if it was only one article, but then others started copying it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, but
that's journalist for you.
That's the thing. Something goes mainstream, right? It doesn't even need to have a reason for hating, but just everyone goes with it.
I mean, that's how journalism works. Like one person does a thing, and the other one's like, "Well, person did a thing. I should stay relevant and do the same thing."
Yep.
And then they just copy half of the article and change some words.
That is modern journalism in a nutshell. There's a lot of copy paste and.
Yeah, but to finish the Cuphead thing, that specific person I read was like, "Okay, so this is racist because this and this
Racism.
the same art style, yes, but." It's like nice to have. Oh wait, no, I skipped one thing. And the author remarked that there's no actual black people in the game, which obviously is problematic because they are not black people, even though the art style is racist, right, in itself. And I was like, it's nice to like recapture the feeling of the art from the era without racism. So suddenly it's not racist, I guess, but not including it's in its entirety. Which apparently means, I mean, not including caricatures of black people. It's not good like that. It's like trying to not whitewash, make the history more friendly, basically.
So what you're saying is that by trying to appeal to identity politics, you will always lose.
Yes. I mean that this article demonstrated a beautiful paradox. It's like it's racist because you're using racist art style while you are trying not to be racist by not adding the caricatures of black people, but because you are not adding racist caricatures of black people, you are racist because you are not respecting the history. Isn't it like great? You are racist by not being racist.
So basically, no matter what you do, you are racist.
Yes, it's like with the I don't see color thing because that's about racist too.
Yep, it's if you say something along the lines of I don't care what your color is, I mean I just judge you by your personality. You start out with 0, and if you're A and S, then I will think you're A and S, and if you're not, then I might like you. But that's racist because I don't see that someone is black, and you're black, therefore I need to have preconceived notions about you, even though I specifically go out of my way to try and judge everyone with an empty slate.
White supremacy.
Well, obviously it's white supremacy.
Speaking of...
But I'm curious about that because no one says a thing about Asians. They just are. They just are there. That's just a war between the black and white.
Oh yeah, but obviously the Asians are super privileged too. Look at all those studies that indicate that Asians are one of the wealthiest groups of people in society, yet you don't really see anyone complain about that.
And that's why Asians don't exist, because you can be like everybody is oppressed and Asians like, actually I'm not oppressed.
Yeah,
like, no, shut the fuck up, you are oppressed. I'm not.
I make 6 figures a year. I'm not oppressed. Oh, shut the fuck up, you're oppressed. That white guy over there, he looked at you, and I can construe it as being very mean. But that guy was just crossing the street and he didn't want to bump into me. No, it was obviously racist. You're terribly oppressed, and you should now demand all his money. But that guy's a bum. He's literally a bum. Look at all the grocery bags he's hauling around, probably containing all the shit he ever owned. And with that, I think I'm going to end today's episode.
I have one more topic.
Me too, Bob.
You have 2 minutes. 1, 3, go.
Why isn't Buck talking?
Is that a topic now?
Yes.
Well,
I'm trying to replicate the feeling of Estra.
Well, that's a good reason, I guess.
ITT Beck is trying to compensate for lack of Astra.
Okay, Buck, do you have any topics left?
Actually,
you have less than 1 minute left.
Do you have a topic, Buck?
yes, only that MTG is also doing loot boxes by actually putting loot boxes with different boosters in them. Basically, you have a random chance to get a rare expensive booster or just a normal one. It's like 5 different boosters, and if you're lucky, you can get some very expensive boosters. If you're unlucky, you get just the boosters from the crappy set.
That sounds like an incredible amount of fun.
And that was
really.
the Buck time with Buck.
Oh, good. Okay, so also I'm pretty much done drawing this, and I can't stand drawing Sam even more. So
I can't stand drawing her.
Fuck this. Fuck
the what now?
I don't know.
this.
These nuts.
Something about this.
Yes. Don't diss him.
So that was episode 84 of Radio Rothingham, the world's least professional podcast on the internet. Let me move the mic closer so I sound even more epic. Like, favorite, subscribe. Yeah, that's because you only hear me through my headset mic. But the audience can hear my full booming voice right now. Oh, yeah.
I'd rather not.
Well, consider yourself lucky or not, depending on your position. Anyway, so like, favorite, subscribe, do all the good jazz. I'll see you guys next week for another retarded episode of Radio Rothingham, the world's least professional.
No, you.
No, you.
No, me.
You all.
Everyone.
No,
Nobody
his.
asked you about anything.
I'm not your friend, buddy.
I'm not your buddy, pal.
I'm not your
No,
pal, bud.
Mate.
Mate. You all mate. You got some buddy in you, mate.
I'm not your mate, chap.
I'm not your chap, fella. All right, that's enough of that. Well, cheers, and see you guys next week. Kenix, bye.
You were still recording?